tiger hurts one person at the Palm Beach Zoo. Shannon?
You're looking at live pictures right now from St. Mary's Medical Center, where apparently that injured victim was trauma-hawked to St. Mary's Medical Center. Our Michelle Casada is there on scene gathering some details for us. Here is what we know, and we're only going with what we have confirmed at this point in our newsroom. One person was injured this afternoon shortly after 2 o'clock, prior to 2 o'clock, a short time before 2 o'clock today. An individual was injured inside a contained area that houses a tiger. That is what we have confirmed. We know that the tiger at some point was tranquilized, and the individual that was injured by that tiger was removed, taken by ambulance to Coniston Middle School, where it then hooked up with this Trauma Hawk helicopter you see right here, and then flown there to St. Mary's Medical Center.
So one person, the nature of their injury is unknown. According to police reports and to our partners at the Palm Beach Post, tiger again was tranquilized. Police had to wait for the tranquilizer to take effect to move in and help. As you look at the scene at St. Mary's Trauma right now, there were zoo goers there, and according to them, they were told, go to the gift shop immediately. Keep in mind, in breaking news, a lot of competing stories here. Some were arguing the tiger had gotten further beyond the enclosure, but cannot emphasize enough, when you have breaking news like this, the official report is that it happened in an enclosed area, that one person was hurt, the nature of their injuries, how they came to have them. We are just learning from our producer, the victim in this case is a woman. This confrontation with the tiger, again, that is what we know. The rest would be speculation at this point. We're trying to parse all of that out right now. As you look at St. Mary's and the trauma helicopter, again, we're learning just moments ago that the person hurt here is a woman. No indication that guests, early reports all said guests not at risk. They were, many of them moved over to the gift shop for the protection. Some zoo goers are offering conflicting stories about what happened. But as you outlined, Shannon, what we know, one person injured there.
And we did learn, actually, out of reports out of the police department, West Palm Beach Police had confirmed that, in fact, that theory that the tiger may have gone beyond that enclosure had not been confirmed by police at this point. So they are there on the ground, and they have not been able to confirm that theory. Once again, guests there at the scene were evacuated in some way from the zoo, and our Tanya Rogers is there on the scene or nearby the Palm Beach Zoo with an update on that. Tanya, what can you tell us?
Well, actually, we are right outside the zoo. Now, joining me right now, speaking for the first time, is Naki Carter. She is representing the zoo to tell us exactly what happened. So what is it that you can tell us?
I can tell you right now we are dealing with a very active situation. Our first priority here at the zoo remains safety. Safety remains a top priority. We want to be clear that no people, no guests, no visitors were in any threat of danger at any time. An employee was injured behind the scenes. This took place again with an employee behind the scenes. Our thoughts are with her. She left here in an ambulance. We are waiting to hear further, and I will comment later on her condition. The zoo is on lockdown. We did a security sweep because, again, safety remains our top priority. And we just want everyone to know that it's an active scene. We are waiting to hear from authorities who are here stationed around the zoo, and we will be making updates throughout the day.
Now, Ms. Carter, we've been hearing back and forth stories. We know that Trauma Hawk was in the area. Was she airlifted to St. Mary's?
I can't comment on that right now. Again, zoo employee, this was behind the scenes. She did leave. She's in the care of medical personnel. We are awaiting to hear details from them, and we will provide, once her family is notified and with their consent, we will provide those details to the media as it warrants.
Can you tell us, was she in there? Was it the normal feeding time for the tiger? Was she changing the water? What was actually happening?
Again, this is active and ongoing. I can tell you the procedure that she was performing, the proper safety checks had taken place. This was behind the scenes. Accidents happen. We are prepared to handle those accidents when they occur behind the scenes in any format, and that is what we are doing at this time with this active ongoing investigation.
Can you tell us a little bit about the tiger, the age of the tiger, male, female?
No, not at this time. I can just confirm, because I know there have been reports about different animals. I can confirm that it was behind the scenes, a zoo employee. It involved a tiger. I cannot say at this time which one or any further details.
Can you tell us about the procedure that you actually did take as a measure to protect the visitors that were here?
I can tell you we immediately went into lockdown mode. We also have a safety protocol that's in system where every department, every manager, every staff member knows what to do. We have radios, as I have present here, to communicate with each other at all times, as safety remains our top priority here at Palm Beach Zoo. Those checks were in order. It was a very seamless procedure to get everybody in place, to get the guests that were here that were never in danger at any time out of the zoo and put the zoo on lockdown as it remains right now.
Now, we did see just a few moments ago, before we went on air with you, we did see West Palm Beach police drive through on the side back here, which we know is a side entrance to the zoo. We also saw a crime scene written on there. Is it just part of the procedure to have it investigated to make sure everything was done properly?
Absolutely. This is a procedure of checks and balances. It is standard in any position. We handle over 500 animals here at Palm Beach Zoo. And so when you think about how often an occurrence happens in life, things happen. And so in this situation, we were prepared to handle it. All of the personnel that you see on staff, this is a standard procedure operation.
Tell me a little bit about, I know you said that you want to notify her family, and it is a woman. Can you at least tell us about her injuries? Was it above the chest area, the head, the legs? Where was it?
I cannot report on the type of injuries that she suffered. Again, our thoughts, our prayers are with her, or with her family. Out of respect for her family, we won't comment at this time, since she has recently been taken in the care of medical personnel. And that's just, again, as a zoo and as a family, we are a family here. So right now we are in distress ourselves, because one of our own is in distress, which by result puts her family in distress. So out of respect, we are going to hold comment on that until we actually have some factual information from the medical personnel and consent from her family to report that to media.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Carter, for joining us this afternoon. And so that is Ms. Carter, and she represents the zoo. We will continue to have updates hourly and keep you posted on the very latest. Shannon, Michael?
Thank you for a thorough interview, Tanya. Putting to rest, as often happens in breaking news, reports that the tiger somehow got on the loose, and as we said, we were very careful to say those were reports that, as they made clear, were erroneous. This was behind the scenes, according to the official word from the Palm Beach Zoo. This all happened behind the scenes at the zoo, involving an employee, guest not at risk. That's the official word from the Palm Beach Zoo, as you just heard.
No people, no guests, no visitors ever in danger, although they were shuttled and they took the reasonable precautions to move them into a position of safety regardless of the situation. You know, incidentally, I was just at the zoo yesterday, Michael, with my son on a field trip, and this is an extraordinary tiger habitat. They've just increased its size in December of 2014. They doubled the four tigers now, and they've doubled the terrain. They've doubled the size of it. It's called Tiger Falls, and it's an extraordinary and beautiful facility. Just there yesterday, and it's quite popular. It draws thousands of guests every single day. This is our Alex Hagan, and on Chopper 5, of course, feeding in these shots to us there from the scene right now.
And again, police will be involved in the investigation. Obviously, this will portend a wider investigation into zoo protocol and safety procedures, what happened right and wrong. It is not the first time we have heard about things like this at zoos around America, and indeed in South Florida. I can think of several instances that come to mind, but again, you're dealing with wild animals that are contained, the circumstances around which the confrontation happened, how it could happen in that enclosed area where the tigers are kept when they're not on public display, in that enclosed area. It's all enclosed areas, but then there's a smaller, typically an area behind the display area where they take care of, feed, maintain.
Veterinarians treat them.
Treat the animals, so we know none of the circumstances about what was going on, but she emphasized repeatedly this happened all behind the scenes. The tiger then tranquilized. We don't know the circumstances about who did that or how quickly, but all thoughts right now with that injured woman, an employee at the zoo. The nature of her injuries we do not know as you go back and look at the scene. Trauma Hawk taking her quickly to St. Mary's Medical Center.
So we do have our Michelle Casada there on the ground at St. Mary's trying to get updates from medical staff. We also have our Alex Hagan, and as you just witnessed, Tanya Rogers there at the zoo getting any of the latest information that we can get from there.
And we'll continue to follow this on air and online, WPTV.com. 24/7 coverage there, and of course beginning at 4 o'clock on the Now and all the way through our early broadcast, all on WPTV starting at 4.
A lot of news happening in the news department and in the weather department. We'll see you at 4 o'clock.